Yes. Continue the presentations.
मैम कार्तिक प्रेजेंट करेगा.
Okay, okay. I'm waiting.
Ma'am, is the screen presented?
Yes.
So in the last class, we studied about sugar industries and all. So now I'll tell you further about this chapter. So now we'll study about mineral-based industries. So, so first, what are mineral-based industries? So the industries which use minerals such as iron, steel, copper, and all. The industries which use these minerals as their raw materials are called mineral-based industries. The major mineral-based industries include iron, steel, cement, and basic and light chemicals and fertilizers. So I think it is pretty clear that mineral-based industries must use mineral as their raw materials. Okay. So now we'll study about iron and steel industry, one of the major industries in India. So what are iron and steel industries? The iron and steel industry is the basic industry since all other industries, heavy, medium, and light, depend on it for their machinery. It means that it means that all the other uh, industries need their iron. All the other industries need iron for the functioning. Iron is one of the most important material for other industries also. So either iron and steel industries play a major role for for other industries also. So second statement is steel is needed to manufacture a variety of engineering goods, construction material, defense, medical, telephonic, scientific equipment, and a variety of consumer goods. So also in this statement we can see that steel is also very important for other industries and all, and it is also used in various industries for engineering goods, construction material, and all. And the third statement says the iron and steel is a heavy industry because all the raw material as well as finished goods are heavy and bulky, entailing heavy transportation cost. So as you know, the weight of iron and steel is very high. So that's why the industries which produce iron and all, or which manufacture iron and all, those industries are called heavy industries. And this iron is also very bulky and heavy. Also, it costs a lot to transport it from one place to another place. India is the largest producer of sponge iron. India, India is the largest producer of sponge iron. And next, what is the process of manufacturing of steel? So this is the process how we can manufacture the steel. How the industries manufacture the steel. So first, they transport the raw material transport the raw material to the plant. Then, once the raw material arrive in the plant, then they use blast furnaces, where in the furnace, the iron ore is melted. You know, iron ore is a type of rock with iron and very as well as many other impurities also. So it is typically a rock which is melted in blast furnace. Then limestone is fluxing material which is added. So also, as you have just studied in science, what is flux and all. So limestone is added when it is melted. When iron ore is melted, then limestone is added. So by these all processes, then slag is removed, then coke is burned to heat the ore. So these are all the processes which take place under that blast furnaces. So then after this, pig iron. What is pig iron? Molten material poured into molds called pigs. So after this all processes, the iron which we get, then it is poured into molds called pigs. Then after pouring it into this molds are just like some trays all, जिसको ढांचा बोलते हैं, उसमें डाल के उनका शेप मिल जाता है कुछ ऐसा. Then steel making. Pig iron is further purified by melting and oxidizing the impurities. And manganese, nickel, chromium are added. So here we can see the pig iron. Now we have obtained the pig iron, then it is purified by melting, oxidizing the impurities. You have studied all these terms in science, I think, and then manganese, nickel, chromium are added. Then shaping metal. Then if we want some steel rods or some steel utensils and all, then we can shape them according to our requirement. So here, by rolling, pressing, casting, and forging, this metal is shaped. The steel is shaped. Okay. So this was the process of manufacturing of steel. I think this pretty clear. Now we'll see the major iron and steel plants in India. Is the map clearly visible, or I need to increase the size a little bit? Is the size visible? Ma'am?
सही है सही है.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Okay. So the major steel, iron and steel plants in India are located in Durgapur, Burnpur, Bokaro, Jamshedpur, Rourkela, Billai, Vishakhapatnam, Vijayanagar, Bhadravati, Salem. So you can see here the major iron and steel plants in India, where they are located. So if these come in your exam, so you can just remember these places. These are also mentioned in your textbook. You can learn from there. So now we'll move further. Conditions required for development of iron and steel industries. What are the conditions required for these? So first condition is low cost of iron ore. If the iron ore is available to us in very low cost, then probably we'll get some profit and all. So second condition is high grade raw material in proximity. If we get the raw material in of better quality, if the raw material which we get has high content of iron or steel, has high concentration of iron and steel, then we'll profit the then we'll be profited by that. And the third is cheap labor, and fourth is vast growth potential in the home market. So next slide is comparison between India and China. So here's a comparison between India and China. In the 1950s, China and India produced almost the same quantity of steel. So in 1915, India and China were almost same in producing quantity of steel, but today China is the largest producer of steel. China is also the world's largest consumer of steel. So in this graph, you can see that how much steel is produced by China and India. So the next slide is reasons for not producing iron and steel in full potential in India. So we'll see some reasons because of which the iron and steel is not produced as it should be in India. So first reason is high cost and limited availability of coking coal. So in India, the raw material is probably expensive and all, so that's why India is not able to produce iron and steel. And B point, lower productivity of labor. Also, the labor in India is not that much skilled and all. And the third point is irregular supply of energy. Also, as there are many power shortages and all, power cut and all in India, there there is not बहुत अच्छा वो नहीं है इंडिया में इलेक्ट्रिसिटी का. And then the point, poor infrastructure. Also, yes, we know that India has poor infrastructure. Also, liberalization and foreign direct investment have given a boost to the industry with efforts of private entrepreneurs. So, we have studied these terms, liberalization and also foreign direct investment have given a boost to to the industry. So, these two have given boost to Indian industry with efforts of private entrepreneurs. So, next slide is aluminum smelting. So our next topic is aluminum smelting. What is aluminum smelting? Aluminum smelting is the second most important metallurgical industry in India. It is light, resistant to corrosion, a good conductor of heat, malleable, and becomes strong when it is mixed with other materials. We have studied these properties of aluminum in science. Then third, it is used to manufacture aircrafts, utensils, and wires. As aluminum is very light in weight, so it can be used in making aeroplane and all. And also it is used for making utensils and wires and all. Aluminum smelting plants in the country are located in Odisha, West Bengal, Kerala, Uttar Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Maharashtra, and Tamil Nadu. So these are some places where the aluminum smelting plants are located in India. Okay, so next, process of manufacturing in aluminum industry. So now we'll see how the aluminum is manufactured in industries. So first will see what is bauxite. Bauxite is the raw material used by smelters, and it is a very bulky dark reddish colored rock. So bauxite is the raw material which is used for manufacturing aluminum. It is very bulky dark reddish colored rock. Okay, so the flow chart given in the next slide shows the process of manufacturing aluminum. Regular supply for electricity and assured source of raw material at minimum cost are two prime factors for the location of this industry. So now we'll see how the steel is manufactured in aluminum steel industry. So this is the process. First, we'll see. Okay. So first, in aluminum steel industries, 4 to 6 tons of bauxite. Bauxite is the ore which is used. So 4 to 6 tons of bauxite is taken to make aluminum, and only 1 ton of aluminum comes out. So you can see from this this very so from this high quantity of bauxite, only this much is produced. And now we'll see how it is produced. So first bauxite is taken, then bauxite is the raw material, and it is in the bauxite quarry where it will be stored, and then it will be transported by railway or ship to the industries. Then in industries, bauxite is crushed and aluminum dissolved out. Bauxite crushed and aluminum dissolved out. Okay, so this all occur in aluminum refinery. So now bulk ore are shipped to site of smelter, calcinated petroleum coke from a refinery, pitch from a colliery. Then aluminum smelter do the other rest of the things, and then we'll obtain aluminum. I think you must have some doubt in this all process, so you don't need to worry. We will study about these all processes in science in the chapter metals and non-metals. So in that chapter, we'll study briefly about these all processes. Then you can probably remember it better. So no need to worry. Now we'll study about chemical industries. So what are chemical industries? The chemical industry comprises the companies that produce industrial chemicals. Central to the modern world economy, it converts raw material, oil, natural gas, air, water, metals, and minerals into more than 70,000 different products. So the chemical industries use their oil, natural gas, air, water, metals, minerals, and all as their raw materials and convert them into more than 70,000 different products. Second, the chemical industry is in India is fast growing and diversifying. It contributes approximately 3% of the GDP. So the chemical industries. So you must remember this can come in 1 marks. I think the chemical industries contribute approximately 3% of the GDP, and it is fast growing and all. It is the third largest in India and occupies the 12th place in the world in terms of its size. So it is third largest in Asia. You know. It comprises both large and small scale manufacturing units. Rapid growth has been recorded in both inorganic and organic sectors. So in inorganic or organic sectors, a rapid growth has been recorded. Okay. So next. Inorganic chemicals include sulfuric acid used to manufacture fertilizers, synthetic fibers, plastics, adhesive paints, dye stuffs, nitric acid, alkali, soda ash used to make glass, soaps, and detergent paper, and caustic soda. So these are some important products, chemical products which are used in our daily lives for various purposes. For example, nitric acid, soaps, caustic soda ash, and all. These are very important products which we use every day. These industries are widely spread over countries. So these chemical-based industries are widely spread over our country. Organic chemicals include petrochemicals, which are used for manufacturing of synthetic fibers, synthetic rubber, plastics, dyestuffs, drugs, and pharmaceuticals. So organic chemicals in so also organic chemicals are used for making various products. For example, dye stuffs, drugs, for making medicine, synthetic rubber, and all. Organic chemical plants are located near oil refinery or petrochemical plants. So, as you know that oil refineries and petrochemical plants, from there we can get various chemicals as their byproduct and also the most organic chemical plants are located near them. Chemical industries, the chemical industry is its own largest consumer. Okay, so the chemical industry consume most of the product made by them. Basic chemicals undergo processing to further produce other chemicals that are used for industrial application, agriculture, or directly for consumer market. This mean so by this statement means that uh, these industries produce some chemicals, and that chemicals goes to some other industries which use them for making further products and all by those chemicals. So now we'll study about fertilizer industries. The fertilizer industry is made up of companies who represent the entire supply chain from the production to distribution to retail, or working together to deliver fertilizers to the farmers in safe, timely, and sustainable manner. Okay, so here we can see that the fertilizer industries are very important for the farmers and all, and also these industries provide fertilizers to farmer in time and in sustainable manner at all. Fertilizer industry is centered around the production of nitrogenous fertilizers, mainly urea, phosphate fertilizers, and ammonium phosphate (DAP), and complex fertilizers which have combination of nitrogen, phosphate, and potash. So we can see here that fertilizer industries mainly use these all chemicals in these all nine. Mainly fertilizer industries produce urea and all, for which they use phosphate, ammonium phosphate, potash and all. These all elements they use. And the third, that is potash, is entirely imported as the country does not have any reserves of commercially usable potash or potassium compounds of any form. India is the third largest producer of nitrogenous fertilizers. So here we can see India is the third largest producer of nitrogenous fertilizers. There are 57 units manufacturing nitrogenous and complex nitrogenous fertilizers, 29 for urea, 9 for producing ammonium sulfate as a byproduct, and 68 other small units produce single superphosphate. So here we can see that India is the third largest producer of nitrogenous fertilizers, and there are 57 units of manufacturing these fertilizers now. And after the Green Revolution, the industries expanded to several other parts of the countries. Yes, from this statement, we know that because of the Green Revolution, India has benefited a lot, and also it has helped us for getting better fertilizers and all. Gujarat, Tamil Nadu, Uttar Pradesh, Punjab, and Kerala contribute towards half fertilizer production. So these are some major these are some states which produce fertilizers. Other significant producers are Andhra Pradesh, Odisha, Rajasthan, Bihar, Maharashtra, Assam, West Bengal, Goa, Delhi, Madhya Pradesh, and Karnataka. So now we'll study about cement industries. So cement industry, cement is essential for construction activities such as building
I'll
houses.
stop you. I will stop you right here, Kartike. I want to know how many slides are left.
Ma'am, two.
Okay, continue.
Ma'am,
मैम इसके बाद एडिशन का भी है.
five. Ma'am, 5 slides.
5 slides, then you should stop right now. See,
Okay, ma'am.
the thing is, I can see you comprehensively covered a lot of material. Most of the material was from the book. A lot of material was from outside the book. It's all right. It's perfectly fine. बट प्रॉब्लम ये है कि मुझे कुछ शौक नहीं हुआ. मुझे कुछ मैं सुनती जा रही थी, मुझे समझ में सब कुछ आ रहा है, लेकिन मेरे को याद कुछ भी नहीं है कि तुमने क्या पढ़ाया. तुमने बहुत मेहनत करी, यू मेड a lot of things, but I doubt कि कोई सोक कर पाया किसी चीज को. There was too much information. But if you want to convey too much information, you should take more time. आपको बीच बीच में गैप लेना चाहिए कि आप बीच में पूछते रहें कि हाँ ये ऐसा था. What did you? I'm not saying आपको सिंपल बताना है या कॉम्प्लिकेटेड बताना है. बात ऐसी है, पीयर टीचिंग है तो आपके साथ वालों को समझ में आना चाहिए. सबको तो नहीं आएगा, लेकिन एटलीस्ट मजबूरी है कि आपको समझ में आना चाहिए.
मैम आपकी आवाज गई, नहीं आ रही.
Yes, there seems to be some connectivity issues. I was saying that the attention span is not that long. किसी का भी हम इतना ज्यादा फोकस नहीं कर पा रहे थे. मैं तो एटलीस्ट नहीं कर पा रही थी. आई कैन नॉट आस्क फॉर एनीबडी एल्स. क्योंकि बहुत ज्यादा अगर डिटेल में चले जाते हैं, आई मीन आई डोंट नीड टू नो एग्जैक्टली हाउ फर्टिलाइजर्स वर्क या फिर एक एक उसका प्लांट कहाँ पर है. आई जस्ट नीड टू नो दैट फर्टिलाइजर्स की यूटिलिटी क्या है. सिंपल इज दैट. क्योंकि सोशल साइंस में मुझे वही पढ़ना है. I hope you're getting my point. I'm not undermining your hard work. I appreciate you worked so hard and made so many slides and everything. But the purpose is not getting fulfilled despite your hard work. So that is something you can improve when we will be doing that examination. अभी हम लोग जो दूसरा प्रेजेंटेशन है मैं बता चुकी हूँ आप लोगों को कि it will be on the purpose of period in the place of periodics. So there you can improve on this mistake. It was good presentation, and since you have made everything, so we will continue that. Let's just hope I get a little bit time to connect. If I reconnect, then we will continue the class. Otherwise, I'll have to stop the class here.
मैम दूसरा प्रेजेंटेशन होगा मतलब?
किसी का बचा हुआ जो प्रेजेंटेशन है वो खत्म तो करेंगे एटलीस्ट.
नहीं मैम, आप बोल रहे थे ना कोई पीरियोडिकल जगह कोई प्रेजेंटेशन होगा.
मैंने तुम लोगों को 2 प्रेजेंटेशंस बनाने के लिए कहा है ना.
हाँ हाँ हाँ, अच्छा ठीक
ये
है.
दूसरा वाला है.
ठीक है ठीक है.
And it goes without saying that it has to be completed अभी ही. It seems to be unlikely. I am still not getting good enough connection. So we will continue with Kartike's presentation, and I think Anmol is left in this group. Then we will wrap this up, and there isn't much left.
Ma'am, Anjan is left.
Anjan is left. Okay. And about the other people जो लोग बाकी के activities में part नहीं ले रहे हैं, I would just like to remind you once again that this marks will be counted in your final board examinations evaluation जो मेरे हाथ से जाने वाला है, because अभी तक 15 था. Now I basically have all the 20 marks in my hand. So if you are slacking off, अगर आप काम नहीं कर रहे हैं, so do not expect me to give you good marks, because I frankly do not care if your result gets bad. The whole point behind evaluation is how sincere you are. अगर आपका रिजल्ट खराब जा रहा है उसके लिए आप जिम्मेदार हैं, मैं नहीं हूँ. So I think that will be all for today. Let's continue this someday later. Sign off.